Hi guys, so right now I'm doing one person that's been requested quite a bit. And at first, I wasn't really interested in doing him because I felt like he was kind of like a Joker character or a provocateur. And as I saw, I realized a lot of people were interested or wanted to find out more. And then I saw something on Twitter about him and some like new revelations about his participation in the whole election thing. And I was like, you know what? Maybe he is bigger than I think he is. He's not just some random person like acting out on Twitter. So I thought, you know what? Let's do him because it's like it's one person that seems to be requested a lot. And since whenever people show up on news, whether there's something new about them, I'm like, oh, I want to do them right away because I feel like something's going to come out about them. And I'm really interested to see after a while, after I do these readings, if some of it turns out to be true. I'm just really super curious. So whenever, like I said, because he was on the news just yesterday, and I had read some stuff about him on Twitter, I decided to do him like as soon as possible. Okay, and so I'm doing Roger Stone. Then let's get started. All right. So just one second. Cards fell here. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right. And so yeah, Roger Stone. Roger Stone. What's up with Roger Stone? What's his story? Okay, so it's interesting that the first card that came up is the White House. Okay, and this card that has come up today, I think for all of them, for anyway. So this card is about not being able to be assertive as you would like in the White House. That's like the literal meaning of this. Okay, and disappointment. And for some reason, like I said, this still Norman, you're supposed to be super direct and very to the point with the meanings. So when I see this together, I feel like he's disappointed that he's not more famous, because the starts card has a connotation of expansion, growth, also fame. So I feel like Roger Stone is upset that he hasn't been able to get through to the White House quite as much as he would like, that he's not as famous. And anyway, that's the present right now, what's happening. Okay, and I'm going to now to the background and past. Okay, so this is a card of problems, something being obscured. And this is a woman, a blonde woman turned upside down. And to be honest, in the context of everything they were seeing, I feel like probably has something to do with Hillary for some reason. Just a woman upside down, turning her upside down. So he has some issues with Hillary, or something to do with Hillary, turning Hillary upside down. Okay. And then shows the Fool reversed. The Fool is a good card for beginnings, but reversed, it means, I think, literally like a fool, like a person who does things without thinking, very impulsive. And so but they come together like this. Okay, so if I look at everything together, it's saying problems with Hillary and impulsive conversations, impulsive connections. Okay, so it's possible that he has something to do with turning Hillary upside down through these impulsive conversations, or like he has connections or having meeting people. Okay, and the next row it shows older man. This is a card of rest. Okay, and peace of mind, but turned upside down, it means restlessness. And yeah, just restlessness basically. So the older man is really restless and probably can't sleep very well. Okay, he's the emperor, so he achieved the position, right? He's the president. in the tower. And it's interesting that we all know that he's a president, and we know that he's in the government. And I see this card as usually the government, corporations. Some people can see it as prison, but it also means isolation. So in the context of this, it's like this older man who feels very restless. He achieved what he wanted. He's the emperor, but he feels isolated, right? He's isolated in his tower, okay? And then this leads to Roger Stone feeling like he can't get through to the White House quite as much as he would like, okay? All right. So here we have Queen of Wands. It's a card, it came up before for someone else. I feel like in the readings, when it showed up, it means a kind of like a motherly role. So I feel that so this is the other lady. Which lady is this? Hello, we know this. This woman represents Russia in our reading. So I feel like either he came up with the idea of connecting with Russia, or like he has a female contact or something. But I honestly feel like it's just his energy in terms of the Russia thing, because right underneath it shows a person making a decision, in the process of making a decision, and the sun. So I feel like something is going to come up that's going to show his process of making a decision in terms of partnering with Russia in some way, okay? Connecting with Russia in some way. And then this is like, and I'm thinking, this is going to make people happy. Because like, and I have to say, I'll tell you how I feel about him later, but okay, so this is a card of the past and nostalgia, okay? And when it's turned upside down, it shows a person who has a hard time dealing with the present, who's like always thinking about the past and can't move on, like nostalgia in a negative way. And here's a card that always comes up for everybody who has problems with this investigation, who's gonna be in trouble. This one, Scythe. So this is the last row, and guess what? So the Scythe comes and the coffin together. Like, really sorry, Roger, looks really bad for you, okay? And yeah, so what does it say? It says sudden ending. Okay, that's it. There's like really, that's it, the interpretation. I don't feel like there's a lot of like, that there's a lot of like room for interpretation other than like, I think it's super clear right here, okay, like how it's showing. And so Roger Stone, get ready, baby. All right, like, whoop, another one. So yeah, I just want to like, oh my god, my hair is like so awkward or whatever. Don't worry, look at it, don't pay attention to my hair. But like, okay, so like, if I think about it, it's like something from his past and a lot of disagreements and fights that haven't been dealt with will lead to his demise, right? Because this is like, I've said this before in different readings, when people have these, like with these cards like this, it's like so negative that like, right? It's like you can't really, like what's going to happen after this, we don't know, but it's just going to end very badly for him, right? It's like sudden ending, or like this shows that it's something out, like it's outside of your, it's not like you decide to end something. It's always something outside of your control that comes out of nowhere and it leads to an end. So whatever news comes, whatever decision comes, it's going to lead to an end, okay? So that's that there's just no other way around it, okay? And then I decided to do, as I was shuffling and I was deciding on his reading, like I wanted to do also the legal part for him, because I felt like if what people were saying is true, that he somehow was related. And I forgot about this because I wasn't super like, when the election was happening, I wasn't paying a lot of it, like right before the election, I wasn't paying a lot of attention, but I remember this now that I'm saying this, that he supposedly connected with Guccifer, whatever that like hacker person, I don't know who that is, but so anyway, so that's, once I remember this and I was like, oh, that's right, because I'd watched this documentary, and I actually recommend people watch it. Documentary, I think on Netflix about Roger Stone, and it was really, really interesting. Actually, it's funny. I don't hate like he's very creepy and not a great person, obviously, but there's something about him I kind of almost like him, in a weird way. Like he's so gross in a way. He's so like him. He's so himself in that kind of gnarly way that you almost like I don't like him and I like you almost admire him for being like completely unmasked. And I feel like that's probably why a lot of Republicans never took him like don't take people like him that seriously, although he's always been behind the scenes. He has a tattoo of Nixon on his back, and it's ironic, right, that he's involved in this too. And so you this documentary shows that and Paul Manafort talks about him extensively in the like on the documentary because they work together. They used to have a consulting. What is it called? I forgot the name, but it's like it's not the fundraiser, but something like a political consulting company together. So they work together really well, and also they were connected to Roy Cohn, who's like a big influence in Trump, like the hardcore like smearing campaign master guy who died. So I don't want to get into like all the details about this, but I recommend if you're interested in Roger Stone to watch this documentary. It explains a lot of Trump's ideas and like why they connected and why they get along. So it's really interesting. So anyway, so I'm going now to the second part of the reading, the part about the legal extension of this. Okay, so what is Mueller going to tell him? Okay, so it's get ready. It's pretty bad. So it's like death. Okay, it's saying like, and I know I saw this card together with this one. I was like, oh, I get it now. I hadn't thought about it like before like this, but it's like this is a card of karma that's heavy burdens to carry, heavy things, and I was like, oh, it's guilt. That's what it is. It's a card of guilt. So Miller's telling him, you're guilty. It's over. Okay, literally, it's guilt. Like I was like, that's it. It's guilt because you know when you like carry like dark things in your like when you everybody's like you know everybody has a moment where like you carry sadness or like problems or something, but a lot of times I believe that they're like kind of karma related or like it's something that you're dealing with consequences of mistakes you've made for one reason or another, but you feel it heavily, and the name of that is like guilt is like an internal feeling of guilt, like you've done something wrong or whatever. But that's I get it. I'm like, oh, that's what he's saying. Like when this comes, it means guilt. Like you're guilty and it's over. Okay, and he's saying you're so happy. Weren't you celebrating the fact that you are shady and doing shady things behind the scenes? But guess what? You can like complain and whine all you want. But I'm giving you time, long time. Okay, like I feel like the anchor card is also one of those interesting, flexible cards that have a lot of different meanings. It means stability, but it also means a really long time. So basically, whenever it's like next to different cards, it brings the element of time. Like it extends whatever, it's like it repeats and extends the essence of whatever is next to it. So if I look at it this way, he's saying like, okay, it's over. You're guilty. You're guilty for celebrating all the, you're celebrating all these horrible things you've done. And, you could whine all you want, but it's like this, because it's like, you have been guilty of these like shady things. I'm going to give you like or the shady things have happened for a long time. Okay, you were guilty. So that's what I get. That's a story I get from like what Mueller is saying, and then his defense or something like whatever he's saying is that this is new messages and news. He's saying either he's saying it's like more details about what happened. So he's like this is a messages, okay. And this is a card of public, and so, or it could be social media or internet. So it's like he puts the messages on the internet, okay? He's frustrated that like he can't get things done the way he wanted. Like he's had some setbacks. So he decides to be a thief, right? To steal. This is a card of corruption, stealing, and thief. Okay. And this is a person who's like aggressive, like go getter, and like has a lot of charisma, but turned upside down is like a person with anger management problems. So he's like very angry and like whatever, like anger management issues. And then he's like acts immature. Okay, so it's saying like I was like, well, I put the messages on the internet because like I was like really frustrated. So yeah, I did steal. But you know what? Whatever, I'm just immature. Okay, that would be the defense. Okay, how he could defend himself if you could call that a defense. So then the last row, whenever I do the legal, is like what's going to happen to him, or what's the story? Like when it ends, how is it going to be known to us or like to the world or whatever, right? So then that, because I felt like this is how the best way this last row could be interpreted. Okay, it's saying like, okay, so the star card upright is like hopes and like be having the heart in the right place, like the right hopes, but turned upside down means like you're off your spiritual track. You're like despondent and you feel like very, it's like very scared or like very yeah, just like I looked it up again just to make sure, like the reverse version. So it said, yeah, like a person who's off their spiritual track and has the wrong or hopes and the wrong interests. Okay, so this person makes a choice, and the choice is related to making money. Okay, but then when this person makes a choice, things go wrong. Okay, wheel of fortune reversed, and there's problems. You're a snake. Okay, so in a way, I feel like he becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of having your heart in the wrong place, or like choosing the wrong spiritual path. Okay, and that's that. And I feel like here it's showing me that like no, it's like funny, this came to my thoughts came so clearly. No leniency for him. Okay, this is what's showing me. And it's showing me that again, it's really bad, okay, like just for him, like, and I don't for some reason, I don't know, like, if he like, I don't want to talk about like whether if he lives or dies or whatever, if he goes to prison, whatever happens, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's showing me that like, boom, it's quick. He goes away or whatever, like whatever comes to an end. And again, I have to say this, I'm going to say this every time. Why is it that on the last position, this comes to every person pretty much who's involved in this scandal, who looks like they're going to be like, they have to leave or they're going to go to jail or like, yeah, they have to, like, it's so weird. I find it so, and it's like funny because I was watching something else right before I did Roger Stone, and I was like shuffling rant, like while I was not thinking of him at all because I wanted to really, really shuffle. And then when I started doing him, I was like, okay, I spent a lot of time shuffling and saying his name and asking about him. But like again, because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. No, it showed up again, and with the confirmation of an ending. So I feel like there's pretty much no doubt about Roger Stone that he's screwed. Okay, it's clear, and that Robert Mueller is pretty angry at him. Like he's like, dude, whatever, shut the fuck up. I don't care about your bullshit. Okay. So that's the story. Okay. Thanks for watching it again. I just want to disclaimer, it's for entertainment purposes. None of this is true. Like, you know what I mean? It's not truth, obviously. Like, and I just interpret images as I see them. And of course, I follow the news and I read a lot about all these people. So I do have all the information I may have is just what I read on the news. And it has nothing to do with like any form of like knowledge or connection, nothing like that. It's just, that's what the images are saying. Okay, so again, thanks for watching and thanks for your nice comments. It's kind of amazing, like people leave all these like really nice comments, and like I put on my first video a couple weeks ago, and now there's like all these followers. So it's like nice. It's funny because I don't want to, I have another life outside of this, obviously, but it's just that the whole the whole investigation consumes me, and I'm obsessed about news. Like, I get so obsessive. And I feel like this actually helps me a lot because instead of like refreshing Twitter every second, I feel like I'm seeing another image. I'm seeing resolution. I'm seeing, like, I feel like there's something to be said about not focusing on, like, oh my God, nothing's happening. What's going to happen? Like, if you could see another world where there's resolution and fairness to a degree, right? Then it makes me feel a lot better. And seriously, when I think like, oh my God, I'm spending so much time doing this, it's crazy. But at the same time, it's like, no, it helps. It helps me, and I think it's good to know. Like, it's good to hear that I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this. Obviously, like everybody, people feel the same kind of level of like anxiety. And the other thing I find really interesting, and it's something I'm interested in for other reasons too. It's like how powerful storytelling really is, because in the end, it's not just that we want to know the facts, it's that what I see here and that I find super interesting for everybody that I do is that I get the background. Like, why do people do A, B, C, or D? Or like, what makes some people like flip and others not flip? And why it's just this behavior thing. You get the side of a person, like what motivates them, what do they feel. So it's like it helps create a story for all of us because it will take a long time to understand the full picture or the whole story, right? Like there's so many people involved in this. Like, look, I try to do at least 2 readings a day these days because I want to catch up. There's like all these people, and as once I catch up, then I'll be like, maybe do it like whenever stuff comes up, like local elections or like something in the news, so that I could find out more. Like I want to know, for example, like Trump's going to Asia, like what the hell is he going to do there? Like there has to be another agenda for that trip, but I don't want to do like these like events until I do like everybody or like the bigger people involved. Okay, like so there's still a long way to go. I still have a lot of people to do, but I feel like I'm like midway now. Okay, and today was just like Saturday. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and maybe tomorrow I'll do a couple more. To try go back to my 2-a-day schedule until I catch up. Okay. But anyway, thanks for watching and thanks for your nice comments. Okay, thanks. Bye.